Brainwash Podcast. It's me, Nick, and this is Tony.
I'm Tony.
We're back again today with some more interesting things to try to scar each other with the internet. I've got a story for you today. I'm going to premise it with a very simple question for you, sir. It's a very, very simple question.
This is exactly how the last week's episode started.
Exactly. Whenever I can, get talking, might as well run with it. But got a question for you. At what point do you decide, or how badly do you have to injure yourself to finally go to the doctor?
Ooh, that's a good question actually. Because when I hurt my back pretty bad, I went for 2 years without going to the doctor.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked you the question. That's why I started this one with that question. Because for me, if I'm not seeing bones popping out or not slowly bleeding to death or, vomiting blood or something, I'm like, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to go with until I realize that I can't. It's not gonna fix itself over time.
Okay.
Then I guess I'm gonna go.
Okay. Well, that starts off with my wonderful story for this week, or at least the first one. So there's a gentleman. He owns a farm, and he notices that he needs to do some repairs on his fence to hold in his animals.
Is it a regular fence or is it an electric fence?
That's a barbed wire fence.
Okay.
I was getting to that. So he goes and gets his barbed wire. And, realizes he doesn't need to repair much, just a small portion of the fence. So he, goes out to repair it, and he's like, fuck it, I've been doing this for 30 years, it's fine, I don't need gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the midst of trying to repair said fence, he, of course, slips and lets the barbed wire go, and it slides across his hand. It's a big barbed wire gash through the hand. Now, I pose you another question. At this point, does he, A, decide he needs to go to the damn doctor and look to see if he gets stitches, or B, make sure it stops bleeding, wrap it up, and decide it's okay?
Okay, let me let me tell you a little story. When I was I don't know, you're fucking 12 or something. I was in middle school. I stabbed the shit out of my hand right here. You can see that big scar. I was messing with a butterfly knife, stabbed my hand. I needed stitches. They didn't send me to the hospital. They made me go to school the next day.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital after school was over. Didn't get stitches because it's been too long. But my point being, I guess if you can stop the blood, I'd.
Well, I mean, I've got 6 screws and a metal plate in my hand because of breaking a finger. So, I guess at that point, I guess I did go to the doctor whenever one bone was on top of the other. But this gentleman decides to take the C route and do neither. He decided he heard an old wives' tale about moss and honey.
Oh, that sounds not good.
So he packs this fucking cut with moss and then douses it in honey and then wraps it.
I wouldn't do that, that's for sure.
So, needless to say, he wakes up the next morning after, pain and whatnot, and realizes that, it's pretty inflamed and fairly sore.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? Decides it's fine, just change the bandages and let it go. 3 days later, he finally realizes that it's serious. It is even more seriously infected than he thought. And at this point, do you think he A, finally decides, oh, now I've got an infected cut on my hand. Do I go to the doctor? Or B, do I do the at-home remedy of dousing it in hydrogen peroxide until it eats away all the infection?
I'm assuming there's a C.
There's a C. There's a C. C is the old wives' tale of deciding that, it's fine. We just poke hole in it, get all the pus out,
God.
And then repack it.
No. Repack?
with honey because honey's
If it's been 3 fucking days already and it's not getting any fucking better, then it is obvious that your whole old wives' tale bullshit is not fucking working.
Yeah, well, with the American medical system and the state it's in, and medical bills.
Did he say he was in America?
No.
What?
So I guess that, you never know. Anyways, I don't know this man's circumstances or just how stupid he is, but I do not recommend just deciding to use honey as your natural bacteria cleanser. But anyways, it continues to get more and more infected as this goes on. Hand starts getting really fucking sore. It's now been 7 days. And he's got this massive infected spot on his...
Does the bitch from the ring crawl the well and kill him?
No. No, instead he decides to look up another old wives' tale at this point, instead of going to the doctor or doing anything that would involve, cleaning it with actual cleaner.
Soap and water.
Soap and water, peroxide, alcohol, something to get rid of him. No. He decides that he's going to lance it open himself, drain the pus out. He does at this point clean it with water and peroxide. Notices that it did not fix the problem because, of course, you've got a week old infection, and realizes that he's got quite a bit of nast and dead skin. So at this point, he's like another old wives' tale, or country fix it, or whatever the hell you want to call it. He decides to go out and get some maggots because they'll eat all the dead skin and infection out of his hand.
Where do you just get maggots from?
He's got a farm, man. I'm sure you can find them somewhere. But
I look behind the fridge, I bet there's some back there.
He goes out and gets this pan full of maggots. Takes it into his kitchen, cleans them off, and then packs his hand full of maggots and wraps them. So
he's already taking better care of the maggots than he did himself.
That's what I thought too. But needless to say,
can't let the gotta be sure maggots don't have a disease.
At this point, he doesn't realize that he's also got a fever, a fairly significant one. Probably not. That's what I'm assuming. The story did not say, but so he decides to he wraps this thing up, and he's just got maggots wrapped up in his fucking hand now. Just eating away at dead flesh and nast on his hand. But he goes to sleep. Sleeps for more than 24 hours because of the infection, or because of the fever that he's got. And by the time he wakes up, the maggots have not only eaten the dead flesh, they've also started eating the living flesh in his hand too. As he realizes that he's in excruciating pain on his hand. So he unwraps his hand and looks down, and the maggots are gone.
Oh.
And then he realizes that his skin is moving.
Oh.
So the maggots have now eaten into his hand.
Oh no.
Does he then?
I would really hope he goes to the hospital. Did it say what time era this was in?
Yeah. Current.
Okay.
This was apparently like a couple years ago. Now, at this point, like you said, does he go to the doctor? Or does he take option C?
I'm assuming he takes option C. You didn't give me a B, though.
That's because there is no B. There is we jump straight to tweezers and a knife.
What's that movie? There's a movie like that.
Yeah. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah. No, he takes the route of, I think I can dig them out myself. Well, I got some good news for you, Tony. Got finally some good news. After lancing his arm all the way up past his elbow he finally decides to go to the doctor when he can't find all the maggots.
How are you going to be sure that you got them all in the first place? Like, say he was successful in starting to get a bunch of them out. How are you going to be sure you got them all out? Like, did you fucking count them before you stuck them in your hand, or what? Like...
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I was more concerned with why is this man cutting, like, literally from the elbow down looking for maggots? Like, that's like the movie, that's like the Beatles from The Mummy, where I'm just gonna pop this out real quick. Like, what do? Just sit there and wait to see something crawling on your arm and go
like fucking whack-a-mole.
like this is like a sick, grotesque game of whack-a-mole with maggots.
Okay, so he's at the doctor now. Is that the end of the story? He just goes to the doctor?
Well, no, the end of the story is that not only does he go to the doctor, he doesn't the thing that's miraculous to me is he doesn't get gangrene, he doesn't lose his hand, nothing really bad happens from this whole situation, except for the fact that he's in the hospital for like 2 days because of the fever.
What?
Yeah, like they clean everything out in the ER and basically pump him full of antibiotics, so nothing very bad happens. But it does turn out that his cut from the barbed wire apparently didn't need stitches to begin with, but the cuts on his arm that he gave himself did.
So if he would have just fucking left it alone to begin with, maybe he just wrapped it up and left it alone.
Wrapped it up.
He would have been fine.
Yeah, no. If he'd either wrapped it up or like thrown some peroxide or alcohol on it or something just to keep it from getting infected.
Fucking whiskey or something.
I mean, my only concern is I don't know. It never said if he got a tetanus shot or not, because depending on how bad the barbed wire was or if there was anything in the barbed wire, he could have got tetanus from it. But
ooh,
I mean, I don't really know how bad.
I would go for tetanus over having maggots crawling around in my skin.
Yeah.
100%. Like, that's not even like a question.
you don't like the idea of maggots crawling up under your fingers?
No. Oh.
Okay, so would you like to start with story number 2 now?
I don't know. Is it worse?
For you, yes.
Oh, great.
Same premise. Both these stories, and I've found, or the reason I'm doing both these stories is because they're both the same problem. It's why the fuck didn't you go to the doctor? Dude is sitting in shorts in his house, not thinking anything about anything in life, just chilling, relaxing. Yeah, just chilling, relaxing, acting all cool. But he feels something crawl up his leg. Again, doesn't think much about it, just looks down, doesn't see anything, goes back to what he's doing, feels something crawling again. By the time it makes it to somewhere between his, below his knee and above his knee, so in the knee area, he finally catches sight of what it is, and it's just a tiny little spider. And like anybody in that situation, he just smacks the shit out of it and thinks he's killed it, and that's the end of the story, right? No, it's not the end of the story. Apparently, he had gotten bit while smacking this spider and killing it. And
that's a fast motherfucker.
Well, I mean, from the way it was explained, this thing was about the size of a dime.
Still, literally, how's okay.
Anyways, the spider's crawling up his leg. He smacks it, gets bitten by it, but the bug doesn't think anything about it. He does wash it off, Goes to sleep, wakes up the next morning, notices that he's got like what looks like an insect bite that is inflamed and red. So he takes something, like some alcohol or something, wipes it off, gets it cleaned up, throws a Band-Aid on it, and goes about his business. Wakes up the next morning. It has gone from a slightly inflamed bite to what looks like a bruised area on his leg. And at this point, do you think he goes to the doctor yet?
Probably fucking not.
Nope, doesn't. Decides that it's an infected bug bite. So he takes a needle, pokes a hole in it, douses it in peroxide, squeezed. I guess he squeezed I'm assuming he removed the pus or something himself at this point. But anyways, he does this to his leg, throws a bigger band-aid on it, and goes about his business. Now, why he waited this long? Apparently, he waited 2 days to check on it again because he thought it was just.
What the fuck?
The next morning, I guess he was like, "Oh, it doesn't look any better or worse. I guess it's fine," and then just replaced the bandage and moved on. But by the third or fourth day, it has gone from a slightly bruised area to a very large black spot on his leg, and it's starting to get painful.
Like, I got a paper cut, and I changed the band-aid on that twice a fucking day.
Yeah, because it's very easy for shit to get infected. And I guess this guy just thought it was just an infection, so he pokes a hole in it again. At this point, drains the infection out of it himself. Because it's not, it's like the size of a quarter silver dollar or something like that. And, he goes, drains the pus out of it or whatever the hell you want to call it, say about it. And throws another bandage back on it, doesn't think anything about it. By the next morning, though, it has spread, and it is now up to the size of like a golf ball or maybe a baseball.
Did the spider actually bite him?
Yeah. So, and it is starting to turn black.
So the spider, he actually got bit by a spider, and there's not going to be, like, towards the end of the story, a bunch of tiny little baby spiders start crawling out of his leg.
No. Like, it's not that. It's not. This is not. What is it? What was that movie? Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
I thought you were going to say How to Train Your Dragon.
No, there was a movie. No, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I fell asleep watching that.
There's a part where a woman touches her face and spiders just pop out of her face and crawl all over her. And it's awful. Anyways, no, it's not that kind of a story. Well, this thing keeps getting darker and bigger. And darker and bigger, and he just keeps like thinking he's draining the pus out of it until one day he wakes up finally, and he takes the bandage off, and he can see his knee bone, like just flat.
So he's waited how many days now?
I think it was like a week and a half before it.
And he's only looked at it fucking twice.
I mean, he's looked apparently somewhere between there. He's changed his bandage fairly regularly, at least once a day. But
how bad does it have to get? Like, you're sitting there looking like, I can't see my fucking kneecap yet. Let's give it another fucking day.
That was a joke. I was just trying to get a bunch of punchline in there. But no, it doesn't get that bad. But he does wake. He finally wakes up and one morning after like I said, like a week and a half, he's been changing the bandage and trying to keep it clean on the outside, not thinking, cleaning out pus as he thought he needed to, because he thinks it's just infected.
As he thought he needed to.
Finally, after about a week and a half, he wakes up, takes the bandage off, and it's like this big black spot, probably about the size of your palm. And he finally like goes to touch it to do his usual routine of draining the stuff, and it just sinks.
That's probably not a good sign.
Well, at this point, do you think he A, goes to the doctor, or B, decides to just like scoop the nast out of it himself?
He's gone this far.
Well, for once he does the right thing and goes to the damn doctor. He goes to the doctor, tells him what happened, explains the spider bite, because he just thinks it's a spider. Well, they do a round of tests and clean, start trying to clean it up. Well, it turns out he got bit by a brown recluse, and they had to do like 2 hours of surgery to remove a good section of meat that had just decomposed.
He got bit by a baby recluse.
I don't even know if it's a baby. They don't get that big.
I thought they got pretty fucking big.
I don't think they get bigger than like.
I don't know. I'm fucking scared of spiders, so I'm not looking at fucking pictures. Do not.
I'm just gonna look up that how big.
If you type in Yeah, bam. It's the top.
3/8 of an inch long.
It's at the top. Adult brown recluses.
Oh, okay, quarter to a half inch. So see, they don't get, they're not huge. They're, like I said, about the size of a silver dollar.
That's too fucking big in my book.
Anyways, yeah, no, he got bit by a brown recluse. And apparently, they had to take out a good fist-sized section of meat from this man's leg.
So he walking around looking like he got bit in the calf by fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, kind of. So what's the worst medical situation you've ever been in, sir?
That I've ever been in?
Yeah, where you thought, if I don't go to the doctor, something bad's gonna happen.
Well, in my adult life, not nothing really, because I don't do anything. But when I was a kid, I got bit by a dog. I got a scar goes through my leg.
Did you actually go to the doctor for it?
Well, I was taken to a doctor. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I think my worst one is breaking my finger, probably.
I remember speeding down the highway with my stepdad and my mom. My mom was driving. My stepdad was in the passenger seat, and I was looking. I could see through my leg because I had my leg propped up, and my stepdad was holding my leg, and he's just sitting there yelling, "Drive faster!" I'm just like, I'm fucking fine. I don't feel anything.
That's called shock.
Got pneumonia once.
Yeah, no, I think that's the worst, is either getting the really bad case of the flu or something like that, other than breaking my finger. Yeah, I broke a finger, and that was probably the worst medical thing that I've ever had. I've never been in a situation where I was like, I should probably go to the doctor for this. I'm bleeding profusely, or, something horribly bad.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Just fucking normal getting older bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like, go to the doctor and be like, my foot hurt.
Go to the doctor and be like, my back's been hurting an awful lot here recently.
Here's some depression medicine. Okay.
This arthritis in my hands is killing me. Here's some more depression medicine.
Yeah, your blood pressure's too high. Here's some of that.
Yeah.
But what about this?
We're just not going to think about that.
That's not a problem. It'll fix itself.
Yeah, it'll fix itself. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Our stories of wonderfully when the hell should you go to the doctor? Is this a good idea, a bad idea, or in between? And don't ever take option C.
Don't ever take option C.
It's a terrible idea. But I guess we'll sign out on that one for this episode.
Sure.